Nike. Well, we're taking you right now to a unity rally that's being held with the NYPD and community leaders at the Chabad of Staten Island. It's in response to recent anti-Semitic acts of vandalism in the area. Let's take a listen in.
Without fail, light will always prevail. Every act of hate can and must become the inspiration for decisive action, an act of love and kindness. We all need to do something to add more light to combat this evil and darkness through acts of compassion and loving kindness. I encourage all people of goodwill to add in goodness and kindness to those around you and to people you may have never met. The fact that God created us means that each of us, no matter race or creed, are extremely important to Him, and we each have a unique purpose in this world that no one else can fulfill. When we realize that, we will come to appreciate the immense importance and value of each and every individual, especially if they are different from us. As a first step, and to concretize this idea, we will now be passing around a pushka, a charity box, together with small coins. The smallest act of kindness can and will change the world.
Not bribe, because you're putting it back in the charity box. Anybody need it? You got? I did. Anybody else in the crowd who wants to do this, please? You got coins there?
When cowards rise up in hate, their objective is to frighten and silence the Jewish community. To those who want us gone, I say this. Not only are we not going anywhere, we will be redoubling our efforts to reach out to every person on Staten Island with love. In less than a week's time, Chabad will be opening our 4th branch servicing the North Shore of Staten Island. This new center, in addition to Chabad Central, Chabad of the South Shore, and the Chabad Israeli Center, will, God willing, continue to spread the Rebbe's mission to spread light throughout the world. A moral society demands a notion of an objective supreme judge, an eye that sees and an ear that hears, even if you don't get caught by the police or the media. An act such as the one we are addressing today is only possible when that notion is lost. To help remind us of this, I'd like to call upon Rabbi Yaakov Leierfeld, Rabbi of the Young Israel, Staten Island, and a true Yedid of Chabad's, to lead us in a prayer. Rabbi Leierfeld.
I don't read English that well. A psalm by David, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall lack nothing. He lays me down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He revives my soul. He directs me in paths of righteousness for the sake of His name. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. You are with me, your rod, your staff, they will comfort me. You will prepare a table for me before my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup is full. Only goodness and kindness shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long years.
Amen. When I came here, actually it was Thursday afternoon when I found out about it. I say to my son Mendy, and then I even spoke to Rabbi Ethinger, and I said to him, we're going to keep this low. We don't want to make a big deal about this. We don't want to give them attention. And life will go on as if it never happened. But little do I know, about 5 minutes later, I get a message from someone. They saw it on Facebook, they saw it here, they saw it there. The cat's out of the sack. So now we have a question, how do we deal with this? We can deal with it the way we dealt with it in the past. And I know there were much worse crimes and heinous shootings than we experienced here. Thank God it was only some graffiti. Just a few months ago, what happened in Pittsburgh, a few weeks ago, what happened in California. So we could have dealt with it in a way that we're just going to run away and we're going to just keep low and we're going to be good boys and do what we are told to do and not make too much noise. Then I thought about it and I said the way Rabbi Mendy mentioned before, that from every act of evil we need to double and redouble our acts of kindness. And this is the only way we can continue in life. I will echo the words of Rabbi Goldstein. I'm sure everybody knows that name. Rabbi Goldstein is the rabbi that he lost his finger in California because he was a Jew. That's why he lost his finger. It happens to be, I know him very well. We grew up together in Crown Heights. We experienced a lot of this hate and a lot of the violence, yet we stood strong. We stayed in the community. We stayed there. You go to Crown Heights today, you can't buy a house even if you want to. The neighborhood changed so strong, so dramatically. Why did that happen? Because we as Jews, the handful of Jews who lived there, decided we are staying there. It was by the guidance of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He told us we're staying here, we're not going anywhere. We're here, we're staying in Staten Island, we're not going anywhere. And not only we're not going anywhere, I spoke to Mark Weiss a few nights ago on the phone. And he says to me, what can we do? This is a global issue. It's not just Staten Island. This is not just New York. It's a global issue. What are we going to do about it? We can't do anything. We're just a few little people over here. So I said to him, and he agreed with me, and I said, you're wrong. If we could get together 20, 30,000 children to come to a stadium, and all we're going to do there is to teach the kids, and the kids will talk about it, that all we want to do is help another person. Doesn't matter who you are and what you are, what you look like, male, female, black, white, Spanish, Chinese, it's irrelevant. And we say hello to each other, even if you're Hasidic. And we talk to each other, we say good morning. And that's the lesson we need, what I would like to see coming out from today. What I would like to see coming out from today. And it shouldn't be just, even though it's only graffiti, but it shouldn't just be, oh, it's only graffiti. No, from this graffiti on the walls is going to show us and teach us that we, a handful of Staten Islanders, the forgotten borough, isn't forgotten. We woke up. Sometimes they call it the bedroom community. We're waking up. The bedroom is closing. We're waking up. And we will show the world. We could get together. Look at this room. It's a Tuesday morning. Look at this room. And we are going to do the right thing. And I don't know exactly how to do this, but we got to do it. We got to start making phone calls. We got to send out emails. The message is love and kindness and goodness and kindness. And this is a message that we need to make a rally. I would like to suggest we do it before the school year is over. We can get schools, private schools, public schools, whomever we can get. We get the kids together and we teach. If you don't teach the kids, we're wasting our time. It's nice to teach adults, but sometimes, an old horse to teach new tricks. My wife is trying to get me to lose weight. It's not working so good. But if you would have started it maybe when I was 10 years old, like my kids are doing now with their kids, maybe it would have been different. So I understand it's difficult to teach an old horse new tricks, but we have a lot of young kids. And we got to teach them. There's a God, there's a creator, we're responsible. And if we do this, I could talk about this a lot, but I won't. People have to go to work, and we have to beat the rain because we want to go outside. I would like to thank everybody for coming, especially I would like to thank Max. He doesn't like when I call him Mr. Rose or Congressman. I would like to thank Max because he was the first one here. He was here on Thursday. And I would like to thank the DA. We spoke on the phone on Friday. And the Thursday I was very busy. We had a whole program over here outside actually for the Lag Bomer. So I was busy on Thursday. I spoke on the phone with the DA on Friday, and we suggested we should have this press conference. And in Hebrew they say, Omer v'oseh. We spoke and he did. So thank you very much, and God should bless us all.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Moshe Katzman and Rabbi Mendel Katzman from the Chabad of Staten Island, from the Chabad of Staten Island, and also to Rabbi Ettinger in particular from the Yeshiva Zinkron Paltiel from across the street. And also to the Anti-Hate Crimes Task Force my co-chair, Scott Maurer. I thank him for arranging everyone who is here as well, together with our Congressman Max Rose and all the elected officials who we hear from in just a moment. But it is true what the rabbi says is that we are changing the narrative of this story. And it's a terrible story that's been written over centuries, the story of hatred and the story of division. But I'm so glad that the young people are here today in the back room as well, because I want you to know in particular that what you're seeing is that the people of Staten Island, their leaders and those, the community leaders, the religious leaders are taking a stand. We're taking a stand for light because only light can defeat darkness. We're taking a stand for love because only love can defeat hate. We're taking a stand for all people and all religions, that they can enjoy the benefits and protections of American society, our constitutional principles, the freedom of religion, the freedom of association, the freedom of speech, and together we are taking that stand. Keep in mind that 10 days from today, we will celebrate the 75th anniversary of D-Day. That was a day when the Western world, led by America and Great Britain, took a stand against the hatred of anti-Semitism that had washed across Europe, and many lives were lost, and many gave the full measure of devotion. But at the end of the day, light prevailed, love prevailed, justice prevailed. So I want you to know that just as those Americans took a stand, and that day, almost 75 years ago, we on Staten Island are taking a stand against hate and for love. And so we'll say a few words before we go out together collectively as a community, led by our rabbis here in this beautiful part of Staten Island, this beautiful bedroom community, as the rabbi said, I guess no longer a bedroom community, to go out and paint over those signs of hate and clean them up. And I want to thank Dennis McKeon from Where to Turn, who gave us the supplies, and he'll be out there leading the charge. Just a last thought. Why is it important that we take a stand? Elie Wiesel gave us the words to find that. There may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice and hate, but there must never be a time when we fail to protest. We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. I swore, and this is Wiesel speaking, I swore never to be silent whenever and wherever human beings endure suffering and humiliation. We must always take sides in his spirit, in the spirit of those who have been tormented through the centuries, through anti-Semitism or other signs of hate. We are taking a stand. We are taking a side. I've never been prouder to be a Staten Islander than I am standing in this room right now, taking that stand and that side. Thank you all for coming out today. And now, as the rabbi said, so quick to action, so quick to take a stand and a side, our great Congressman Max Rose.
Thank you, DA. You know, all too often when we talk about hate in the media, all we see is these horrific images, this fear of further division. And it's hard not to lose faith in our better angels, faith that we can be better as a community. But we can't lose that faith, especially today. You know, this is a borough of compassion. When the government shut down 4 or 5 months ago, everyone behind me, Democrat, Republican, everyone came together. Religions came together. Different cultures came together. And we served people in need. That's what we continue to do here on Staten Island. The generosity of our neighbors is unparalleled and truly unbelievable. We saw that with Sandy as well. That's what Staten Island is. Not the vandalism outside, not the hate outside. We're one borough and we're one family. We're defined by the rabbis, the imams, the pastors, the civic leaders. The acts of love and compassion, both small and large, many of which are never reported on each and every day. So it's important that we condemn anti-Semitism today. I say that as a Jew. I say that as your congressman. But I also ask, as Rabbi Katzman alluded to, that we carry on with the full knowledge that we as a people are so much better than this. We continue to lift each other up, and we refuse to give in and let whoever committed that act of hate outside, we refuse to let them win, because we will always speak to our better angels. We will always seek to come together, and we will always seek to make sure that this country fulfills its values. Thank you all for being here today, and let's never let this happen again.
Thank you, Max. Our terrific Borough President, James Otto.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you, but it's really tragic to see you under these circumstances. Many of us up here spend a lot of time in our schools across Staten Island. And if you walk into a classroom anywhere on Staten Island and look at the faces, you see what was once referred to as the gorgeous mosaic. If you talk to our teachers and our principals, they will tell you an astounding number of languages that are spoken in our schools. If you walk down from Borough Hall and you go into the Staten Island Ferry Terminal and you watch the 5:30 p.m. boat come in, and you look at the faces of those Staten Islanders coming back from work, you once again see the gorgeous mosaic. Every day in this community, Staten Islanders, at worst, tolerate each other. At best, thrive together with each other. These acts do not define who we are. These acts do not define this community, do not define Staten Island. And by us getting here today, we remind Staten Island of that and remind the world of that. You might be home tonight watching this on TV, or you might read this in the Staten Island Advance tomorrow and say, I'm not Jewish, this doesn't impact me. Or I'm not anti-Semitic, or I'm not hateful, this doesn't impact me, I have no role. You most certainly do. In our own little world, in our own little universes, if you see amongst your friends and family signs of hate, push back against it. You could be gentle, you could be rough, however you think it can be effective. Push back against it. Moreover, you might be at home saying, I'm not Jewish, I'm not impacted by this, I'm not hateful, I'm not anti-Semitic, I have no role in this. You most certainly do. Treat the people around you, friend, family, stranger, with just a little bit more kindness. That's how we beat this back. That's how we win the day ultimately. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for all the things that you do. Together we will beat this back. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And I want everybody to know how seriously the NYPD and our office take the issue of hate crimes. The leadership of my office is here. Paul Capofari, the chief assistant, Tim Kohler, the exec, and Mark Palladino's here, who is a bureau chief who heads up the hate crimes unit as well. They prosecute these cases to the max, and their partners in the NYPD take these cases as seriously as any, and that's why we're so honored and lucky to have a wonderful borough commander in Chief Ken Corey. Ken?
Thank you, and as part of the NYPD team here today, we have Deputy Inspector Mark Molinari from the Hate Crimes Task Force and Captain Bruce Separano, Commanding Officer of the 121 Precinct. We've said before, there is no room for hate in New York City, and there is no tolerance for it here in Staten Island. Someone out there knows who perpetrated this crime. Tell us. Help us keep you safe. Call us 800-577-TIPS. Your calls can be kept confidential, but help us make Staten Island a better place for all of us. Thank you.
Our marvelous assemblyman from this district, who's also the dean of the Staten Island delegation to Albany, Assemblyman Mike Cusick.
You know, I've represented Staten Island for a long time, and there are many proud moments that I've had in these years representing the great people of Staten Island. And today, this morning, standing in the back, watching my colleagues, having the view of the audience, seeing this room, this is one of the proudest days I have as an elected representative for Staten Island. Because as many of the speakers have said already, Staten Island is a unique place in that we always come together. This act of hatred was an act that attacked all of us on Staten Island. We all have been attacked when there is an act of anti-Semitism, an act of bigotry towards any of our neighbors, our friends, or our family here on Staten Island. And to see this community come together, not only to console and to work towards a result in this one action, but to be together and know that we're all in this together. Out of hatred comes love and unity. Today is a perfect example of that. But it's our responsibility, not only the elected officials and the community leaders who are here, the rabbis, the clergy, the imams, the police. It's our duty, not only today to be unified, but to continue forward, to continue this message that we are not just here to cover up an act today. We are here together to make sure that our borough, our community is unified as one. To let people who are going to do this in the future know that it's not one community, not one group you're attacking all of us. We are in this together. And that is the message that we are sending today. And that's why I am so proud as a Staten Islander that we are here today in doing this. And I want to thank Rabbi Katzman, I want to thank Rabbi Lairfield, Imam Tahir, all the clergy that are here. Rabbi, thank you also. I see so many folks here that are here to support. But let's continue this forward. This act of hatred will not, and the message we are sending will not be tolerated here on Staten Island. Thank you for joining us today.
Now, if you're just tuning in, you're watching a unity rally held by Jewish community leaders on Staten Island, as well as the NYPD Hate Crimes Task Force. Now, lawmakers are demanding action following a series of anti-Semitic acts of vandalism and graffiti, including a recent message of hate that was written on the Chabad of Staten Island that caused a lot of fear in the community. Authorities say they are redoubling efforts to reach out to Jewish community members on the island to ensure their safety and show solidarity. And leaders also say they're opening another community center on Staten Island to improve the communication flow. Now, we'll be sure to bring you all the latest here on CBSN New York. More news and weather coming up after the break.